Last year, when 343 announced Halo was coming to PC, I was absolutely hyped. Finally, I was going to be able to properly play Halo 3 again on PC. Not only was I pumped for those personal reasons, I naively thought that the Master Chief Collection coming to PC was going to reinvigorate Halo again and bring tons of old players back, along with even bringing in new players who had never played Halo on Xbox back in the day. You can listen to me spout out different comments in all sorts of my older videos in the past where I threw out different player numbers that I thought Halo was going to hit, 50k here, 25k here, and well, they were all unbelievably generous and incredibly incorrect. At first, like many, I threw all of the blame on the missteps that 343 made as to why the population had fallen so low. But after reflecting recently upon the situation, the more I think about it, the more I come to the conclusion that even had 343 done everything perfect, it wouldn't have mattered. Sure, we would have had a few thousand more players here or a few thousand more over there, but the Master Chief Collection on PC was always going to end up being a niche product regardless of how polished and perfect it was. If you've followed the Master Chief Collection throughout its lifespan, you'll know the product has basically been a disappointment from the get-go. When it was pitched to us back in 2013, we were told the collection was going to be this awesome place where we could play all of our old favorites, Halo CE, Halo 2 Classic, the new and remastered Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, and Halo 4 all in one spot, seamlessly swapping between titles to our desire, and during all this we would get to experience these games quote unquote exactly as they were back in the day. Now, this has been far from the case. The Xbox One version of the Master Chief Collection was broken for literal years, and even to this day, fans could point out all the discrepancies these games still have compared to the OG versions. This was all mostly water under the bridge last year though, as by then, for the most part, 343 had gotten these games working, and this release on PC was going to be the second chance that the Master Chief Collection arguably didn't deserve. Many of us had hoped that after the terrible release the first time, 343 was going to learn from their mistakes and understand that the product that they were going to deliver on PC needed to be absolutely perfect. And well, as you all know, it hasn't been. But here's the thing, I don't think it matters. 343 100%, and I want to make that clear, 100% could have done better with the port of this game to PC. That is absolutely undeniable. From hit registration in Halo 3, to the terrible bugs that we experienced on the launch of Halo 2, to co-op still being a nightmare to play online, to delays for all the different games to the collection and all the features that we thought we would have by now. You name it, and it has probably gone wrong with MCC PC. Back when Reach was the only title in the collection, I made a video in late January pointing out what went wrong with Reach. And in that video, I quoted things like the shoddy port. So by this I mean the bad frame interpolation, no view model adjustments, etc. The grindy season structure, sound issues, the weird map pool that Reach has, the lack of ranked playlists, issues with various playlist settings like not having no bloom in social at all, no crossplay, no forage, no theater, and hell, I probably could have piled on and made that video even longer. Since then, some of those things have been added into the collection or fixed, but at the time of making that video, I truly believed that those reasons were why the player base for Reach died out. Well, that and the fact that it was Halo Reach instead of leading with something like Halo 3. I thought that once we got Halo 3, and once some of these features got fixed, we would see a resurgence of players. However, that has pretty much been the exact opposite. Just like Halo Reach, and Halo CE, and Halo 2, Halo 3's player base peaked a bit at launch, hitting the 40 to 50k concurrent player mark on Steam, and since then has fallen down to the peak player base numbers of under 10k on Steam per day. One comment that I constantly got on my Reach video was from various players telling me that they didn't stop playing due to all the issues I listed. Instead, they stopped playing because they just got their fill. They had played tons of Halo back in the day, which at the time was just Reach, and so it coming to PC was a chance for them to check it out, relive some good memories, and then just go back to whatever they were currently playing, whether that's Fortnite, Warzone, Apex, Valorant, the list goes on and on. When I was getting these comments back then, I thought to myself, Yeah, I mean, I guess, but that percentage of players has to be pretty small. However, I am coming to realize that this is just the truth. Every time a game gets added to the collection, people come back, they check it out, and hell, some of them don't even touch the multiplayer. They just replay the campaigns, and then once they're done, it's back to other games. Games that are still in active development and receive new content on a weekly or a monthly basis. Not games that are 10 plus years old and don't even contain the same amount of content that they did 10 years ago. Sure, the diehard fans of these games are still playing on a daily basis, but even then, as Infinite gets pushed back and the hype for Halo dies out more and more, or hell, even people that don't care about Infinite that are just tired of playing Halo 3 for the 10,000th hour, we are going to see these diehard players dropping off to go play other games or just live their lives. In the current gaming landscape, there is so much competition for games to be successful that just rolling out the same old things that we got 10 plus years ago isn't going to do it anymore. The Master Chief Collection as a product was never really even built to sustain a huge player base in my opinion, and this is something I believe that 343 is probably cognizant of, or at least should be. It was created originally to build some hype for Halo 5. It was going to allow players to replay all the campaigns in one place and then play some multiplayer while they waited for Halo 5 for about a year between those releases. And then again, more recently, this is what was supposed to happen on PC. The Master Chief Collection was brought to PC to build some hype for Infinite, get a bunch of sales, obviously, and then players would just move on as that came out. As we have seen though, Infinite has been delayed, leaving the Master Chief Collection in this position where it is now required to carry Halo for the unforeseeable future with nothing new besides MCC updates on the horizon. This is what has killed interest for Halo, not the fact that MCC PC has bad hit registration or Timmy is complaining that a controller beat his almighty mouse and keyboard, but rather it's just the fact that MCC was not built to be this long sustained product that was going to have this amazing player retention. Don't get me wrong, I am extremely glad it has come to PC, and the point of this video is to not say that I am upset or don't think that 343 should have ported MCC to PC. I am extremely glad that they did. I have had a ton of fun playing both multiplayer and replaying the campaigns that I hadn't played since I was a kid, and most likely I'm going to continue to play MCC going forward from time to time. But for all the other people out there that had fallen off due to just getting bored, I don't blame you in the slightest. Halo 2 or Halo 3 or whatever you fancy are all great and amazing games, but they are also way past their prime. There's a reason that people aren't playing OG Halo 3 anymore. OG Halo 3 was a great game in 2007. It was a great game in 2008. It was a great game in 2009. Hell, it was even a great game into the early 2010s, but as we got further and further from new Halo 3 content, and we got new Halo titles, people began playing less and less Halo 3. Even if 343 had been quicker with the fixes for hit registration, and they'd been quicker adding quality of life features like crossplay, the customs browser, etc., I don't think it would have mattered. Besides the diehard classic fans and the fans that really want to play nothing but those old Halo games, everyone else would have just fallen off the game like they did now. Most people want to play new content, not the same content that they have already played for hundreds or thousands of hours back in the day. And this is what we are seeing. More and more people are just getting bored. Some will come back and check out the new features as they drop, and some will come back to check out the new titles like Halo 4 and ODST as they release. But Halo MCC on PC is not attracting new players. Nobody foreign to Halo at this point cares to get into this title, and I really don't blame them. There are so many good modern games receiving constant new features. Why would you try and get into and learn a game that hasn't received new content in 10 years? As an outsider, besides maybe checking it out due to curiosity, or because you want to experience the campaigns, there really isn't a reason to try and learn how to properly play Halo 3 or Halo 2 in 2020. There just isn't, and that is what we sadly need to accept. I truly believe that even had MCC PC dropped with every single title, and all of the features that we're still waiting on, we would mostly be in the same boat. I think that player retention would have been a little better, but by now, I think basically we would be around the same player base. The only way I think this would have changed was if 343 added new and meaningful content to the game and I'm not talking about challenges and skins like they've added so far. We would have basically needed to see Halo 3 Custom Edition, where they took Halo 3 and they added in a bunch of new maps, new game modes, new weapons, etc. And even at that, it still would have been Halo 3 at the end of the day. An amazing game, but a game that people just don't want to play anymore. Now, I do want to make this point, and that is that this isn't indicative of classic style games being uncompatible with modern gaming. I fully believe that a modern classic style Halo game could still be a smash success. However, what the Master Chief Collection has shown us is that modern gamers and even Halo fans just don't care to play old Halo games anymore. Hell, they don't even care to play Halo 5 anymore. Regardless of all of this, I still think it's great that the Master Chief Collection came to PC. It allowed some players who never got to experience Halo back in the day to check it out, or it also allowed people who had moved off the Xbox platform to experience the games once again. Along with this, it will always be an amazing place for players to play through all the campaigns, -5, in one convenient spot, which will be something players will want to do in the future, especially if Halo Infinite attracts in new fans. Hopefully some of those new players that did check out Halo when it dropped on PC decide to come back and check it out again when Halo Infinite comes out. So do I think Halo, the Master Chief Collection on PC, was a failure? I mean, no, not really. It sold well, and I'm sure made plenty of money for Microsoft, so congrats on them there. And honestly, I think we, myself being a prime candidate of this, we're all just being too optimistic about the collection anyways. It did what it was probably supposed to do, and had Halo Infinite not been delayed, it wouldn't have been thrown into the middle of the ocean with no life jacket and told to not drown. Halo isn't in a good spot, and it really hasn't been for years. The re-release of old titles with minimal new content wasn't going to fix that, even if the port was absolutely perfect. I truly hope that Halo Infinite is able to reinvigorate the franchise, and I even have some belief that it can. We're just gonna have to wait and see. For the MCC though, after a ton of reflection, I don't think everything here is 343 bad like we see on social media. Like I mentioned earlier, have 343 done a good job with MCC? Absolutely not. But regardless, I really don't think the performance of the collection is totally on them. It just wasn't built to be a top performing game, and you know what? Most people would be happy if their mid-2000s shooter that hadn't gotten new content in 10 years still had 10,000 concurrent players just on Steam and another 10 to 15,000 on Xbox. So enjoy the Master Chief Collection if you want. Don't enjoy the Master Chief Collection if you don't want anymore. It really doesn't matter. But all the doom and gloom about how MCC could have been this massive success if it wasn't for 343 needs to stop. It was never going to be, and as Halo fans, we just need to accept that and move on. Now, with that all said, 343, please hurry with my hit registration update, customs browser, crossplay, and mod support, please. I'm dying out here. Thank you. Anyways, that's going to do it for the video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. If you want to support the channel monetarily so I can continue to make dog shit videos like this, you can hit that join button somewhere under the video. If you have a desire to chat with me live, I also stream a bunch over on Twitch and would love to see you over there. And if for some reason that isn't enough me for you, you can also follow me over on Twitter, where sometimes you can get some insight into my videos before they come out, because this video was a tweet that I put out the other day. With that said, I'll see you all next time.